Good win today. Offensively, I thought we were very good again. 56% maybe shooting for the game, and had pretty good balance. Good to see Alex make a couple shots. We got to get Hunter going back again, but Chase was outstanding. A little disappointed with our defense in the second half. I thought that, we just didn't play with the same intensity that we needed to throughout. But give Upstate kids credit, man. Their guards are good. Gainey's a really good player. Boy, is he talented. And they just did a nice job of executing their stuff. I thought they really screened very hard, and their big guys are big and physical. And so they laid, physical screens on you. And when they got shooters like they do that can really rip it, you can find yourself on your heels a little bit. So give Dave Dickerson credit. I thought he had his guys really ready. Having played Duke, they were ready to play another high major and show they could play better, and they did. And but this was good for us to bounce back. Again, I thought very good offensive efficiency, and enough defense in spurts to create the lead that we needed to win the game.
Coach, turnovers really did you in on Friday night in the first half. You have to be happy with the way you protected the ball better.
Yeah, we've protected it, except for that half. We've done a very good job in all the other games. That's something that's important to us. We value that. I think we shared it really well. Again, 17 assists, I think, tonight. So guys are finding the extra man or open man with the extra pass and moving the ball. That was that, and obviously our defensive rebounding was better tonight.
Brad, when Alex scored 18, how much of that was him being more aggressive, and how much was it just getting looks?
It's a little bit of all of it. I think, we encouraged him to, he's got to be a little more aggressive when he can. Sometimes you just got to find an open court situation. When you're a shooter, it's like that offensive rebound that they kick out, and your man happened to go in and help on the glass, and so you kind of get one. Or in transition, somebody gets lost. That happens for, shooters that help them have good nights, right? And I think that happened at least once tonight for Alex. And then, I think we had a penetration situation where Brevin refused the ball screen, went to the paint. They came over to rotate. We kicked it to the corner, and Chase made a one more because Alex's man guarded Chase. So that kind of helped him get one. But certainly it was good to see him knock in a couple today.
Thinking with Tyson, trying to get him going.
Yeah, I think he's pressing a little, right? Like sometimes these guys come back and they're, nobody's worked any harder than Hunter. He's phenomenal in his approach, and he just wants to play well so bad. And there's probably a couple of the shots in both of the games that he fumbled one in the corner, shot it. I mean, that's like a Cardinal sin to us. And then he shot one on a high-low play that should have been a pass into PJ. PJ's wide open under the basket. He shot one at South Carolina that, airball that's a guy who's just trying too hard, right? We just got to try to get him to relax and play. Now, I thought he did some other things that were good tonight. He had 4 other baskets, which are in 12 rebounds, so he's still playing pretty well. But obviously, with his shooting, you'd like to see that go in a little bit.
I saw he had his wrist taped up from that spill he took.
He took a huge spill in practice, before the South Carolina game, and there was for about 24 hours we weren't sure if he's going to play. And he played in a lot of pain. It's been bothering him, and he's had it. He's still getting treatment, and it was just a situation where he drove to the basket and got hit and fell on it. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week, Thursday maybe. Said he wore a brace for a couple days and all that. So there's some other things going with it.
Are you tightening the rotation a little bit?
Our young guys just have to play better in practice too. They just haven't given us enough yet. Even Josh has got to do a little bit more. He was better tonight. He was very good defensively in the second half at South Carolina. Probably the best half of defense that Josh has played. He had a couple long closeouts that he did a great job of and stopped the guard and kept him from getting a score. He had one time where he was in a gap and he deflected a ball that led to a run out, Then he had another one where he was high hands on a ball screen that he deflected and led to another run out. And so his defense in the second half at South Carolina was what kept him on the floor. He played very well. Tonight he was fine. He was okay. He hasn't been able to get himself kind of on track on offense. Hopefully that'll happen. But, you know, for him to be 20 minutes or more, he's just got to keep sustaining. And, you know, I've noticed a little more urgency. I've challenged him, and in practice he's been a little bit better. And so, you know, he's still a young player. All those guys are. I thought Dylan played well tonight. You know, that's what we need. We're not looking at Dylan to come in and shoot a bunch of balls. He had an open three, went in and out. He had a play around the basket. That's fine. You know, but he's just got to run our team, get us into our stuff, play with pace, really defend. And he's a solid defender. You know, when he plays well and he's locked in, and so that's why he's getting a few minutes as well.
I don't know if it was their MO to shoot 15 threes in the first half, but how much of an emphasis was three-point defense?
Yeah, it was. They shoot the ball. Gaining, you know, made 70 last year or whatever it was, and he's 49%. I mean, he's elite. Bailey, I think, coming into the game was, you know, had made 4 or 5. Rideau had made 3 in 2 games. So they had guys that all were making multiple threes in games, you know, and you come into these games and those guys make 10, 12 threes, and they're going to get 75 on you. You know, late in the game when we got the lead a little bit, I think our guys just kind of gave in a little, and we didn't sustain our defensive intensity and effort a little bit, let them score a couple, and they made a couple tough shots. But that frustrated me a little bit.
Is BJ right now just kind of around the 20-minute mark?
Yeah, right now that's pretty much where he's at. You know, we'll see if we would need him a little bit more, maybe. You know, the hard part is he needs to play. Like he just needs, you know, you can watch him and see he's very talented, so he can score some, but like he really isn't moving as well as he was last year by any means. I mean, and it's all obvious and normal, and he's just got to get back to that, right? And but obviously we're glad to have him. He's got great hands and finishes, but he's got a lot to work on to get better.
Where's his conditioning right now?
It's okay, you know, C+, where you would expect it to be. You know, for a guy who's been out and been doing a lot of things. Basketball's just different. You know, and obviously what happens when you get tired, right, then you're gonna make mental mistakes. And you're supposed to be up to touch on a ball screen and you're just 1 or 2 steps back. And now the guy turns the corner, he gets his shoulders forward, and now you're guarding something different. And if you can keep his shoulders sideways. And so they're just, you know, it's like you're a step behind. And so there are times right now on both ends where he's a step behind, you know, and there's been some plays that we're trying to execute and run, and he's just out of rhythm. You know, you know, the South Carolina play at the end of the game, one of the plays, I mean, he totally blew it, right? Like just, so but that's all part of it. He just hasn't been out here. I mean, you know, we're asking him to do a lot, and then you throw him in a game like South Carolina, which is as hard as it can be, and he's still very productive. You know, he's competitive. He's very competitive. He's hard on himself.
How long were you expecting it to take, maybe at this point, for him to get
I think
back
it'll
to
take a
moving?
while. I really do. Like, that's what I preached it before. If you go back and look at my interviews, I said, everybody, we gotta be patient now. You don't just flip the switch. And when you're a big guy,
Yeah.
big guys are different, man. Like, we don't walk around carrying his weight and his size and his feet. Like those 18 feet, that, you know, they need we gotta do some rat-a-tat-tat-pat drills to get those feet going again. And he's gotta gain his confidence, right, to be able to trust everything. And so it's almost like he had a tough fall tonight, and for a second I'm always like, oh my God, get up, please get up, right? But then when he's okay, he probably needs that. He needs to get knocked down, he needs to be off balance, he needs to be put in situations where he just has to trust that, hey, I'm fine. You know, and I think every once in a while, you're naturally gonna be a little tentative and just a little unsure, and so he just needs to play games and practice and get basketball experience back under his belt. So, but I think it'll take, you know, a month or more at least. maybe 2.
Has Brevin surprised you at all with it doing more than just shooting? With his
A
help, or
little,
just
but
about
we
what you
knew
expected?
he could do some of that when he was younger. Obviously, last year his knee was really bothering him, and so that was kind of his deal there. They needed a shooter, and so he just spaced, and they had some other guys that could get downhill and create angles and get him shots, and then he just he didn't probably physically wasn't able every night to go do that. So we thought that he could do that, and obviously there's some space because Alex can shoot, Hunter can shoot, and there is some space out there. Chase Hunter can shoot. I mean, he made 4 threes tonight, so there is some gaps if you can punch a gap. If we kind of get the ball moving the right way and create an angle, there's a gap to drive every once in a while. And so today we also thought today we really emphasize shot faking, right? Emphasize using our shot fake, and they were going to be aggressive, and we thought we could get by them, and so I thought we did a good job of that.
Coach, 17 assists, had a lot of nice entry passes and dishes in the paint. How pleased are you with your
Very
passing?
pleased. Yeah, I thought, again, this was a high offensive efficiency game. We didn't turn it over a lot, a little bit, a couple bad ones, but you're always going to have a few trying to make a play or be aggressive or make a good feed to somebody.